Alright, guys, so we'll do a bit of a different kind of lighting this time for this one. I don't know, I just feel like this. And what I want to talk about is, it's going to be a short video. All these losers that complain about, oh, it's too expensive. Like, price shoppers, price wankers, they look at a product. To me, I look at a product and I look at if I like it. I look at if, so let's say it's a t-shirt, let's just an example. My eyes are not going to scroll instantly to the price, I'll look at if I like it, if I like this design, if I like the something about it, what's written on it, and then a combination of all that. And this is, regardless of whether I have a lot of money or no money, uh, I've always been this way. And then if I have a lot of money, I'll just buy 10 of them. If I have no money, then I'll just wait. I'll just get the money. I'll just, it's part of manifestation, but I don't want to make this a very long video. I've spoken about that before. People focus on the money when you really should be, and you don't even know what you're focusing on. Your brain is always thinking thoughts, man. Most people aren't even aware of their subconscious thoughts. Their conscious thoughts, let alone their subconscious thoughts, which you really have to be advanced to. And I know a lot of you want me to just tell you all my secrets here. No, I'm not going to tell you everything, but yeah. I remember a customer, I'm not going to mention him, but I did videos about him on the old band channel, and great customer, gave me great reviews and all that. And then, once, and I gave him a lot of discounts and all that, and because he kept saying, he has a joint account and he doesn't want to buy with his wife. I mean, his wife is not going to let him spend X, which I've spoken about that. If you have a joint account or if you got to discuss your purchases with your wife, that's just gay, man. I mean, I know people are going to hate me for saying it, but that's fine. You can hate me. But it's true. I mean, you should be the boss and you should be, it should be the other way around. There's no equality in all these things, right? I mean, ultimately, women, well, let's say you have X amount of money, okay? Women will take 70% of that for purchases. If you scroll through a woman's purchases, they're all mostly useless. It's all, feel-good kind of bullshit. Women and cocks and these people that don't really improve their lives any which way. So they'll buy something, that iPhone looks good or that lipstick looks good or whatever. And then the next day, oh, I want another brand of lipstick. I mean, but what's that doing for your life? Nothing at all. I mean, I'd actually argue, and I like women with minimal weight makeup. Yeah, lipstick's cool, but, anything more than that, all the gloss and eyeshadow and all that, it just kind of, because when it comes off, it's terrible, and it hides, This is why I don't use filters, I don't use AI in my videos, I don't use anything, as brutal and bare bones as, unless it's AI to market, AI to, that I really go all out on that. But, so he was getting the discounts and all that. I no longer do discounts because of this reason. And, well, that's one reason. The other reason is, you give an inch, they take a mile. Then you have the cheapskate mentality that I talked about. Everything has to be blue light special. These guys don't appreciate any quality. You get what you pay for. You pay peanuts, you get monkeys. It's that simple. But, but on the same hand, these same bozos will stand in line for like literally hours under the blazing sun to buy the newest iPhone because they're sheep. And it's social pressure, right? Everybody's buying an iPhone, so I must buy an iPhone, Even though there's no real need, you could probably, but, yeah, so this guy, And for a period, now most of you didn't even notice it, but I let my very, very exceptionally high extreme fitness standard slip. And he said, to me, this is the same guy who told Ben Gay he looks like he needs to fast for a year. And then he is truly fat. I mean, yeah, that guy is like a blubbery whale, literally. And I repeated that, and we all know the story there. But he told me, to be honest, you look a little fat. And I was feeling that myself. And, it was my birthday that day, and I put this on my website and all that. This is the best birthday present I ever got, man. Because I'm not the sort of guy. You tell me, you make some negative comment about me. I'm not going to take it in a negative way initially or a positive way. I'm just going to be a psycho about it and analyze it very deeply. Funnily enough, then, in a few short weeks, I was back to my sexy hubby porn star. Not that I was ever fat, but, a little bit, maybe 5 extra kilos. He noticed that, and there's something, the vibe was missing, something was missing, and he's right, he noticed that, and I thanked him up and down. I was very glad about it, and, because I love that. And later, when we discussed it, he was like, Raul, yeah, I might have said that, but you weren't really fat. And I'm like, well, I think I was, and most people would still say, Ben Gay was looking at those videos and saying, hey, you got some good stuff out there. I guess it's all relative at the end of the day, everything's all relative, everything, to him, because he's a 400-pound, 450-pound beached whale, gorilla, whatever. Although I don't want to degrade either by equating, he probably thought that was more normal, to him, sexy hubby, porn star. It triggers him so much. Hey, I just did Gay Boys post. Anyway, it triggers him so much that he calls it all kinds of, stupid names like whoever the fuck these people are. More nobodies like Ariana Grande. There was another third one. I can't remember. It was some MILF he found. Hey, you should be I like MILFs, I mean, I'm a DILF, Dad, I'd like to fuck. Yeah, you can cut it. And not the older man kind of, I mean, there's that, but, I'm like an 18-year-old in many ways. But so anyway, this customer then, once he saw that video, and he's still, we're still keeping in touch, we're still talking, we have disagreements. Now, he doesn't hold the same opinions about women that I do, but, we can discuss it logically, and he keeps saying, and he's from a completely different generation, a far saner generation. Although feminism was there back then, it wasn't as brutally taken to giddy limits, it was just starting back then. But it was still there. But, so he simply responds to all he doesn't call me nasty or misogynist, or he calls me the bodyweight exercise guru, but, he doesn't agree. I mean, and I don't force him to agree. You can't, he just says, we're from a completely different generation. So, it's not surprising. And because he sees what's going on. He's smart. He's analytical. He's intelligent. But, after that day, and it's funny because he said I look fat, then, I agreed. Now, and then, after I got back to him, he was like, well, I don't think, you were kind of, I thought you were out of shape. And I was like, hey, dude, if I was fat, just say I was fat. I mean, I liked the feedback. I liked the comment. I put it, it was the best birthday present I got because it was actually true for a change. Most of my trolls and idiots, they make all these comments that are completely idiotic and they're self-projecting. But if it's actually an area where I can even improve, being the narcissist I am, 0.001%, then I want that feedback. I want to win. Anyway, and then after that, he said he never had any money to buy anything else, although he had already bought everything off the site. At that point, I think it was just Squat 101 and the isometrics book he hadn't gotten. No, I mean the second one, because he'd already got the first one and he enjoyed it, he loved it. And he actually wanted the second one. We had a bit of a disagreement on how to do things for that, but I'm not going to get into that. That was done on the other channel. But the bottom line, he kept saying, he didn't have money, he didn't have this, didn't have that. Now, he didn't before either, but he found a way, right? But after that, it was so. I kept telling him, and that's fine, I didn't push him to buy or anything, and he knows that, That's simply, but I told him this is a classic example of how people think. Like, so he saw, okay, a guy slipped from his normally very high standards, albeit for maybe a couple of weeks. But it was something, even I could feel it. I just hadn't done it. And then he told me that I did it. But then after that, that doubt sparked. If he hadn't seen that period of videos, likely he'd still be, he'd buy the last two books too. Now, then I asked him for the feedback. He's given me great reviews, heartfelt, and he's like, Raul, I meant every word of what I said. So it's an interesting insight into how people think. But, then you have people that, they got to discuss with their wives, and the wife will, of course, she'll never let you buy anything for yourself and all that. And in this day and age, and, but these wives still find the money to go on expensive anniversaries and buy, presents and also the garbage. What's that going to do for you? Buy a shit ton of crap stuff that, but you don't have the money to buy something that'll help you. I mean, that same amount of or less money. I mean, a book is like golden, the information never fades away. And especially if you see it's backed up by solid proof, right? I mean, you don't always have to see it. Some of the greatest, self-help authors, even, in fitness, marketing, they put out stuff after stuff, which was all valid information, because they were basically learning on the job. And it was all valid, and then finally they became big, and, people bought the previous books, and they, but it's interesting. It really boils down to priorities. I mean, if you have if you're fat and out of shape and all you're concerned about is money for groceries, and now I'm not saying go into debt to buy products, but these same people that whine about, I could buy a week's worth of groceries for one purchase here and whatnot. Then you have customers, I could buy 2 books. I mean, they were highly priced books too, for the price of one at your website. Shows you how elite I am, elitist. I only cater to the best for the best. If you're buying 2 books for the price of one, yeah, but you're buying me, right? I mean, what guarantee is there that those 2 books will have, number one, as good information as this one book, and number 2, you may like the guy, but do you like them equally? I mean, you like me, you like him, then you have to decide. And then he asked me, what would you do in a similar situation if money was tight? And I just told him, I'd get the guy I liked more. You got to choose. You can't say you like equally, So that ultimately is, again, price wanker mentality, although not taken to a giddy limit at all. They're retired and all that. It's in different generations, so it's different. But yeah, you have young people, not young, but you have people. I mean, I'm young. But I'm not young. But it costs more than a week's worth of groceries and this and that. And dude, yeah, I think some of these cops all do debts, like Mick Foley said. Mankind or Mick Foley, whatever the hell he was. So, dude. WWE is a perfect portrayal of the real world, man, if you think about it. But and that's why it was so successful. That's why I get all these sneaky views, and people say I'm hard to ignore and all that. But look, what's eating like a fucking pig gonna do for you? The guy that made this comment is so fat and out of shape. It's just disgusting, man. He sits on a chair like Buddha, and it's totally disgusting. Can't do one single pull-up. I mean, you have to tilt your chin up to take pictures. You have to pull your pants up. Like, I don't pull my pants up for that. I look at this is lower ab. I can't show you my cock because you'll start salivating my 9.2 incher. But if you these are lower abs, okay? I just pull it up because the pants are so loose. They get looser every day. I could pull it up to here, literally. For you, I mean, it's like because you got a pregnant belly, and you know, and so you have to hide it by doing gay stuff like that and all. Nobody cares, man. And like the customer said, fasting for a year would actually do you a world of good. Rather than, So my point is this, and we've covered a lot of different points in this short video. The bottom line is this. Priorities, man. I mean, for me, any purchase is always ultimately not just because I want it. Even, though I have money and I can buy what I like and all that, even the tiniest thing I buy, I will be thinking about how can it help me further a certain goal, So I chose these, you know what? I mean, just my most recent, I chose Zippo lighters. Okay, I like them because they're butane, they're made in USA, high grade, But I also chose these, which aren't Zippos, and these, I often smoke while I'm in the splits, and these just because it has a gun, and I liked it. But in both cases, that uses lighter fuel, this uses gas, and, the Zippos are promoted on my ship membership. These were promoted here, and, there's always an angle. There's always, like my trolls say, nothing is simple for you, but it shouldn't be, because I don't really have, $1 million. You'll know when I buy Bitcoin, though. And, but I'm not exactly starving either. I mean, but everything I buy is very ruthlessly scrutinized. It's like Jeff Bezos. 7 years into building Amazon. Amazon was already booming, doing extremely well. And you see Jeff Bezos wearing his old, work clothes and, driving a beat-up Honda, and people used to ask him, you have all this money. I mean, he wasn't as rich as he is today, but he was getting there, and he clearly had a lot of money. Why do you, still make Amazon employees work on regular chairs as opposed to those plush, comfortable office chairs? And he was like, well, it's a purchase. Why do you need it? It was only after 2018 or 19 that you see Jeff Bezos with all these houses and all these yachts, and once he became a billionaire, Before that, he was so frugal, you look at him, you think he's a middle-class guy, albeit a smart, psychotic middle-class guy. And, hey, you want a true psycho, that's Jeff Bezos, man. And he, every true achiever is a true psycho. And so it really boils down to that. I ruthlessly analyze everything I do, right down to my purchases, When I was buying this stupid bottle of water, I analyzed even this. It costs like nothing, like literally nothing, even for cheap asses, It's less than Blue Light Special. So I could, people with less money than me, they buy these fancy glass bottles and it's just water, I could be a millionaire, I'd still be drinking water out of this, But if it's eyeglasses, eyes are important. I'm going to spend all the money. So the same thing for my products, My products are the best out there. My products clearly help you a lot. My products clearly are the ones you really want because, like my customers say, you don't market easy workouts. If you did, you'd have tons and tons more sales. I've never done that. I market to the elite doers, not the average bozo sheep who does, only isometrics because he's too lazy to do push-ups. You know who you are. He's too lazy to do pull-ups. He can't do them. Too fat. Isometrics are great, by the way, but you must do them with high repetition, high volume workouts. High volume, high repetition. Then I don't market to idiots that'll say, oh, I train one day, then rest another. I don't, pander to bozos that high repetition tires me out. My joints will hurt. Hey, look at me. My joints don't hurt. Fucking, I got all these injuries and all that. The minute I start training, boom, all goes away. It's about the mind at the end of the day. It's that simple. I know I'm a poet. I'm just the best orator ever. I mean, I kind of tried to rhyme that, but, you have to, like they say, I'm impossible to ignore. This is despite me being consistently at niche influencer status. Now, I never tried to be a niche influencer. I became that. So pretty soon it'll be mass influencer, then mega mass, and, all that without even trying. It's fine. And I'll brag even more. And, but I'm impossible to ignore, It's all these attention-seeking trolls that manifest other attention-seeking trolls that they follow each other. Follow me, I'll follow you back. Dude, you're a faggot. I mean, it's so retarded and childish and stupid. Who cares? If they want to follow you, they'll follow you. Fucking don't be a faggot. Or be one, I guess, if that's your goal. Because you're so broke. Your goal, that sneaky Ben, is to make money off of X. You'll never admit it. It's not to help people. It's not to uplift people. These are all excuses you faggots use to disguise your true intentions. That's why you're sneaky motherfuckers. But, yeah. So, that's really it. I mean, what is really important for you in life? You have to decide that. Most people can't. Women never can. So let's leave them out of it. But for men, what do you want to be an achiever? Do you want to have everything in the world? Do you want to now? Obviously, the answer to all this is yes. Nobody in their right mind would say no. The only vast majority of the reason people say no, because they know it takes a lot of hard work. They don't want to do it. Fitness-wise, to be hubby, porn star, X shape, etc., get all these girls, you gotta be, mentally and physically extreme is what gets extreme, solid, superlative results in those spheres, and that's why I promote that kind of thing. Because contrary to what you think, and I did a video on this, is there really plenty of room at the top, or do I want it all for myself? Well, the answer is two-pronged, as with everything. I do want it all for myself. I'm a warrior. No warrior wants his harem or kingdoms taken over. But on the other hand, you too can achieve your best, and they can compete, I mean, look at what's happening with X and, with Elon and Trump. They're actually friends, but they're both, extremely, extreme doers, and they're both top, that's what you call healthy competition, not trolling somebody and then sitting on the couch. My wife told me to watch Netflix. Let's turn on a movie at night. Oh, what's my movie for the night tonight? That's also gay, man. Totally gay. And then saying you're succeeding. What are you succeeding at? At being a loser? At being mediocre? At being, I don't know how you can sleep like that at night, It just, you're pathetic, essentially, Why wouldn't you want to win? So there's no answer excepting you do want to win, but you're too lazy, So that's really what you got to decide. And if you want to win, if you really want to have what I do, which you do, obviously, why wouldn't you? Right? One of my daughters kept asking this question to other people, just like I do, but why wouldn't you? And she was right, I mean, of course you would, is the point. And, but you say you don't, so you're not just a hypocrite, you're lazy too. Because it's not that you can't, it's just that you're not wanting to put in the work. So you make excuses, you cope, and with products and stuff, so You're really buying the individual, the person, and there it goes. No, I'm not saying hand me money. I'll just take it anyway, But I'm saying, so it depends. You invest essentially in a person or a business that will help you improve. You buy from those people. Or you invest in narcissistic self gratification, which is essentially iPhone purchases and all that. I mean, what do they really do for you? Nothing. Or anything, the latest t shirt, just because you like it. Okay, well, next month there'll be something else you like, unless it really means something to you in some way, manner. That's really, the video I did on narcissism, so you should watch all this. Anyway, last thing I want to say, since we've been doing so many of these beautiful, great videos that y'all love, and really focusing on the website, my book, Gumption Galore, on zeroexcusesfitness.com, we're going to just do these as episodes now, and for the past 3 months, I've been, posting them, all over the site and all that, and they're all uncategorized, but you can easily find them via search. I mean, it's not a social media channel, so I don't have the time to go through all that. Plus, you got the band videos, which I got to put back there, and, so I gotta get that done through somebody, because I'm not gonna do the grunt work, the shit work. And why would I? I got better things to do. I got housemates to bang in the ass with my 9.2-inch dong, But you guys. Yeah, I bang him raw. It bleeds. It literally did actually once, because I had to punish her, and I did it without lube. And it was funny, but she could barely walk. Poor thing. Anyway, so yeah, we are going to have these as episodes like Gumption Galore episode 1, Gumption Galore episode 2, things like that. And I'm going to be naming them. For now, it's all going to be free. In the future, some of it, just to let you know, nothing if not brutally honest tonight, I'm going to be making some money off of them by offering it to paid members, offering it as bonuses, and already with a lot of my books, like on the push-ups and stuff, you get special videos. Not so much the pull-ups, because it's all freely available out there, but the push-ups, you get special videos. Zero to hero, you get 2 great videos. So it's already there, but those videos are not there anywhere else. You're not going to find them. They're just for paid members and stuff. So we're going to do the same with these. That's the plan, and that's the sweet talk. I mean, I'm always, brutally. I'm brutally sweet, and I'm brutally honest and brutally everything, right? So, yeah, I want to talk a little more, Let's see, because I got 5 more minutes of splits left. Let's see what else I can talk about. I guess that's it. Don't be a cheap ass, Remember, you get what you pay for. It is true that a lot of people will scam you, like they may copy something from someone, or they may, the product may not be that good, but their marketing is really good. You could have, but the core thing with stuff like ours is the individual, info products and stuff. And you can see the individual, right? I mean, sexy, charming, intelligent, handsome, hubby porn star, movie star, TV personality, Jesus, narcissist, misogynist. I mean, the very fact that people go to great lengths to think of such creative names for me, and they don't even in most cases know they're using the wrong terms, like I did in that video, should tell you something. It's only, if there's a common thread. Look at someone like a Donald Trump. I mean, he was always called these things way before he was president or even, even famous or whatever. I mean, they were calling him that. Does anyone remember Trump steak? I do. But it flopped, but that's fine. But, they were calling him all that back then. Womanizer, psychopath. Why do you think people? Because they're addicted to me and they want what I have, but they can't get it. Because they're too lazy and they don't want to, and they want to learn for free. Like I gave you so many examples, right? In that first video we did today, that first heart-to-heart chat I had with you. Literally, the trolls are they're not really haters or anything. Like, I love all my trolls, by the way. I love them. And I don't use the word hate for anyone, but I love all my trolls. Bozo Schofield aside, we all know. But I love them, oh yeah, the last thing, some of my trolls, like liberals, you've noticed what liberals do, right? They just take what we say and we're on the right side of things and they're on the wrong, but they just invert that and use the same terminology for their own warp purposes, as if, simply repeating verbatim what another person says makes their point valid. It doesn't. Okay, so they say, I'm the movie star, obviously, but they say they are that. Even though, okay, you can say it, but then how do you decide who's truly addicted? By his or her own words, he's very hard to ignore, and somebody that'll look at everything you do, and that'll literally these people search me out after being blocked. To me, I don't. I mean, they find me, and then so let's say, Ben Gay found me on here or wherever. I'll just troll him there. I don't give a shit what comments he posts elsewhere. Because I didn't even see him there. To me, although I could, but I care, they're losers and nobodies. And, so you gotta look at results in that regard in terms of the who's addicted thing and, well, it's just self-projection, man. And, I think you can, and I'm sure there's something I've forgotten here. Yeah, but why do you think people take such time out of their lives to write long posts about me and, to me, it's an easy thing. I just do a screenshot. I'll type out a couple of lines. I don't even type it anymore because I have some AI synthesizer that does it for me. It takes me precisely 1 second. These people are sitting there. I mean, and, indirectly, some people say this. Oh, who are those some people? So, they'll never answer that because they're idiots. I mean, when someone is so, addiction is a dark hole, that just shows you're addicted, I guess, because you find it to be a dark hole. So you're saying that. I never said addiction is a dark hole. I say addiction is very good. It's awesome. It's superlative. Am I addicted to my trolls? Yeah. I mean, the money part of it. And plus, I'm the best troll ever myself. There's no better troll. I mean, even at trolling, by far the best. I mean, you guys are trolls, you guys try, but I out-troll you and outperform you. Guys, I'm just a regular guy that, I mean, yeah, I have things you don't, and you never will, because I won't let you get them unless you invest in me. But, and if you do that, then I'll make sure you get them. But I'm just a troll, Don't get so worked up about. I mean, this is what I keep saying. Look. Oh, by the way, do you like my bald spot? I think it's rather sexy. Because people say, from the front he looks so sexy, and from the back, and the girls notice the bald spot. So I say, but they still come. So why would I get a hair transplant or give two shits? I don't care. One of my trolls said, "You've accomplished nothing except a giant bald spot." And the next thing I did, I did this splits video. Well, in this one you can't really see it. I don't know, maybe I'll show it the next day. I kind of like it. It's like, it's kind of like a shining beacon of hope and, You know, it's different, you know, and I love it. And I'm an interesting guy, and, you know, people talk about it as if I'm supposed to be embarrassed by it or something. I proudly show it off. Hey, you know, I mean, it's the bald spot. I'm still so sexy. I'm sexier than you fat idiots with hair, or, I mean, you're gay, you know. Uh, yeah, that's that. I mean, as for the who's addicted to who and all these, you know, you guys just want validation, man. You just want to listen to, you know, somebody talk, and you just want attention. This is why other people say the same thing about you, you know. And so you got to decide which side of the fence you fall on. And if you truly want what I have, well, then, you know, follow my lifestyle and learn, you know. Obviously, you can't do it yourself. If you did it yourself, you'd have the results, right? But you don't. And obviously, you do want the results, because otherwise, why would you watch my videos? Why would you come to my website? Why would you constantly use the search feature? I mean, it's hilarious. I see Ben's IP, I mean, well, Ben Gay's IP, well, not past couple of days, but, you know, before that. And, well, maybe the past couple of days, because I didn't bother checking. I just checked the stats. You obviously do, because I'm hard to ignore. If I'm very impossible to ignore, which from your results, you're long, taking 10 minutes out. This guy literally, you know, one of these trolls, he can't sleep at night. The first thing he does, he wakes up, gets on X, goes to my profile. Because I've got tracking software installed on his phone that he doesn't know. Oh, okay. Let's finish this with one last thing, since we got so much time today. You know, that's why I never sleep. I can talk more to you. But yeah, let's finish this with one last blast. No pun intended. So the cow, you know, there was another cow. You know, I mentioned that story of that guy who liked to moo like a cow. You know, another, basically a Ben Gay, excepting he had some meager amount of 25K saved up or whatever. He lost it. I mentioned that story. Well, he was so cheap that despite having money, he desperately wanted my products, you know, and he got them, and not all the time at a discount or whatever, but he didn't really need it, you know, he didn't really need the discount, but he was being cheap and trying to get a discount anyway. This guy was such a piece of work, and I've seen this in my fitness thing too. He went to the extent of telling his sister he was broke and borrowed money from her to get my books at a discounted price. Now, he was trying to get the best of both worlds. He wants my stuff, right? He's into it. He's so addicted. You know, he literally sent me of him mooing like a cow and painting shit on it. And on the other hand, he's too cheap. But that's an example of if you truly want it. I don't recommend that way, but you'll find a way to get it. And he got it, you know. And the discount wasn't that much. It was maybe like $10 or... No, I mean, but I wouldn't recommend that. But that's, again, what I mean by mentality. Like, he has the money, but he doesn't want to spend it. And ultimately, he lost it all. Lost his car, with another girl. We got him outed from the house. Now that girl lost everything too. I don't know why. I mean, they both have secrets, and a third party took advantage of them. I'm not going to mention the third party. He broke a deal, but, you know, it is what it is. He actually probably, you know, it is what it is in that case. I'm not going to mention it, but, yeah, I mean, I don't know how people let themselves get fucked over like that. To me, it's all very, because they hide things again. Yeah, that's another thing, because you shouldn't be hiding things. Let's look at a lot of you trolls. Like, keep looking at my body and certain body parts. Like fucking Fat Ben looks at my feet while I do pull-ups. Like, why? I mean, because he likes them. He's into feet and cock, but even though he's into them, he has friends into them, is what he says. Well, here's the bottom line: friends of a feather, pun intended, stick together, right? They all identify as birds. They all like this is why guys call this guy furry, right? Furry is some sort of LGBTQ euphemism, which even I didn't know. Despite I'm into that industry, but I focus on the core, not the fluff. Like you, apparently, lemon means something, furry means something. Then I was called an otter apparently, and I am that. That means perfect blend of masculine and feminine. I didn't even know these terms because terminology is so gay, man. I mean, including calling people gay and straight because we're all shades of X and Y. We're all. But nothing is absolute in terms of terminology or anything really. There's always an abstract element involved. But my point is this: that so you gotta. That's how these guys, because they hide it, and in front of their families, they're this prim and proper, almost straight guy. But you're not. If you were, you wouldn't have all these. You wouldn't be talking to me for once. I mean, well, that is that guy, and Ben Gay. You wouldn't be looking at certain body parts and constantly comparing me to girls, and let's face it, you want my cock in your ass. I mean, otherwise, why would you say that? I mean, you could say this. You think I'm skinny when I'm not. I'm lean, mean, martial artist. I could take you, it. One kick from me, you couldn't even kick up till my head. I could, you wouldn't even know it, man. You wouldn't bet. I mean, not that I'm going to do it. Relax. But don't be bored. Don't scare me. But, it's probably skinny guys. You could, I could name one. His name starts with E, and he works with a fat boy that fired you, or he used to at least. I don't know. And he was actually in shape, and he did the books on pull-ups. And Fat Boy just sold them, which is fine. I don't know what the arrangement they had. You could say I look like that. He said it himself in a video. Yeah, I can do handstand push-ups so well. I mean, because I'm so skinny. And Fat Boy was like, you're not skinny, you're just slim and lean, And you copied Fat Boy's I Got California Redwood, tree legs or whatever. This is all aimed at Ben Gay. But it's an interesting thing. And you don't. You got rods in your fucking legs and you can't do squats is what it is. Is what you got because you're so stupid. That Fat Boy is a smart motherfucker. And he's got all the qualities needed for success. So he did. And at the time he succeeded, he wasn't fat. He wasn't like me, but he wasn't fat. Then he became fat, and that's his choice. But he succeeded big once, So you didn't. You are the opposite. So he fired you. Nobody wants to hang together with that sort. And, so if you're saying you're not into that and all that, then, I mean, quite obviously you are. I can feel it. I run a business based upon that. But the bottom line, friend, is you wouldn't have other friends that are all into that if you weren't into that. Just like you hang out with scammers, these scammers all hang out together. And again, this isn't aimed, I'm not saying people watching the video are scammers, but I'm saying him, these trolls, and they're all birds of a feather stick together. So you gotta decide. I mean, if you want to be a cheapskate or if you want to improve your life, And I've mentioned that clearly you want to improve your life. Clearly you like my stuff. Clearly you like everything I do. Clearly you're hopelessly addicted. Clearly X, Y, Z, etc., etc. It's all been mentioned, all been explained very clearly. Decide which side of the fence you fall upon. Either be completely happy, saying you're a loser, in which case, yeah, you don't need my products, then be a loser. Hey, you can rub my feet, you might not if you're a guy, but you can, I don't know, clean my Ben, like somebody like Ben, I could, he could clean my toilets or something. I don't know. That's probably but. If you're somebody that truly wants what I have, oh yeah, that guy, I forgot to. Sammy Singh. Hello, Sammy. How many girls do you have now? Probably zero. As you guys say, zero. Zero, right? Zero. Zero, zip, zilch, nada, No, oh man, bro, it's so expensive. And then, of course, he filed the charge back because it was gay, pal. But at that point, it was so funny, man. I was having fun. And, I was like, even if he files a charge back, who gives a shit? I think $80. I could crap $80 out of my ass. And, well, the book is actually, because I gave it to him on a massive discount, which I shouldn't have, because discount means, in vast majority of cases, the guy is a complete loser. Not all, but vast majority. And, you know, I mean, it's the book on Nazi feminism. And I keep telling people, people are like, they look at all these dating coaches, 10 ways to get the girl of your dream. And then these dating coaches are they don't have girls themselves. They know 500 plus ways, supposedly, to get women. But they're sitting at home on Friday night jerking their peepees, so. But I'm clearly not that. And, clearly, I mean, I tell you, I always advocate the hard route in something, and you have to defeat Nazi feminism first before you can start to get girls. It's a mentality thing. You got to do it. And once you defeat it, you're not going to be asking me how to get girls anymore because you're going to attract them on autopilot. So that's it. But of course, he wanted. He looks at the book and he's like, really disappointed. I didn't see anywhere where to get girls. And I told him so many times, it's mentioned on the sales page. It's mentioned everywhere. Hell, there's like 50 bullet points that tell you. And if you have even the slightest smidgen of brain, which, he was not a bird or pigeon or something. Pigeons have a smidgen. He didn't. And he's likely still trolling this or whatever. His victory was, I filed the charge back, which I contested, by the way, and I never paid. So I don't know. But who won? And yeah, that's another thing, So, I mean, that book, you gotta really. I mean, you're killing two birds with one stone, to be very frank. But if you got the gumption, if you're a gay fucker, then you won't, and you're a loser. That's yeah. The other thing, the last thing. Look, you guys are like trolls and losers. Like to me, if I say win or loss, it's something worth fighting over. You trolls and losers are so gay, and these are the cheapskates and price rankers and copy artists and all that. Are so gay that for you everything is a V or an L or a W or an L. All this gay Twitter terminology. You have people that constantly message me, I won because two people responded to you and nobody. Dude, two people responded to you because you're begging for them to respond. I actively push people away. I don't want to talk to people. I put myself out there. But, not in a gay, faggoty manner like you. And plus, even if you did, I mean, who cares? One loss, I mean, to truly measure win or loss, you trolls and losers, all of you, the cheapskates. How many girls do you have? Zero. How many places you've been to? Zero. How much have you actually done? Zero. How much have you actually failed while trying to start a business? Your whole life is a failure, but while trying to start a business, zero. These are real indicators of actual success and who wins and who loses. Not simply being fat, gay, cucked, and cheap, and thinking, your wife is the boss in the relationship, and clearly, it's not the way. And I think I finally covered everything, and I'll see y'all later. Don't be a cheap ass. Oh, and you'll notice I mentioned the names of a lot of products. They're all available on our websites. So, take a look, buy some. Start moving towards your goals. If you're the person who kind of who wants things, but then he's like, oh, it's too much effort. Don't bother. I don't want you. I don't even want you there. I only want extreme doers, people that are desperate for success at anything. Could be money, could be girls, could be fitness, could be anything, you know. That's the sort of people I can work with and I can teach you, you know, to get results. You know, it's brutal, but it works. See y'all later.